Metal Slug!
You're just wondering why such the hard split between the lores to the point where if you're playing dad bods, there's no point for a priest. I mean, I don't know. It's really just it's like a philosophy thing. You could mix them a lot, or you could keep them separate, and there's good reasons for doing both that I probably should have touched in the video a little more. Here, let's go to DT. Um, yeah, I guess I have some thoughts on that, and it doesn't appear in the video, even though it probably should, about, okay, what happens right now is Gutbusters are kind of good at everything, and Beast Claw's thing that they do is exactly the same as Gutbusters. Both halves do the same thing, and Guts are just better at it in all the different ways. So, well, you take Gutbuster stuff, and then Beast Claw just sucks, right? Now, if you keep them separate, but make them both good, then you kind of have two different armies you can play, and everybody's happy, right? In this miracle world, right? But if you allow them to intermingle so that, you can cast all your spells on both sides, you can cast or you can pray for all your bonuses on both sides, and all the synergies work, right? If there's a lot of intermingling, it means that the downside to that is that you might end up with the Cities of Sigmar problem, which is when you can use anything with anything, then suddenly all of your choices boil down to just the single best one for whatever role it is, right? Like let's say Beast Claw got good, but they decided they should be anvils. And so like Gutbusters is the hammer side and Beast Claw is the anvil side. Now you have like 30 different units and everyone's army is exactly the same. You have one hammer, which is a Gutbuster, and you have one anvil, which is a Beast Claw, and then you have heroes and chaff and stuff. And now you play one list from the entire army ever, and there isn't really much reason to do anything but use those things. But if both sides can't mix, but both sides are good, well, then you have two armies that the book can play. Conceivably, right? Which is probably better if you're trying to have a book like that. Heywoah, you played against Fire Slayers, and they also got purely out-damaged. The corn damage is just running wild. That could be... I know that you played against Fire Slayers, and I want to say Frank played against Fire Slayers as well. And you're both like, Fire Slayers are good, they just got smashed, that's all. Like, they're not bad, necessarily. Anyway, as always, the dice are S tier. Big fan of the... Well, they're A. They could be better. The dice are A tier hard carry. They're good. There's only one symbol, and it's a symbol for a 6, right? It has pips instead of numbers, which is worse, but good work. Fire Slayer is fun. I'm told yes, but I don't have first-hand information there. So, ahem. It's Corn's America now, yeah. They let us cheat, and then we got the big dam also, yeah. Should we have some background music that everyone's probably very sick of on the VODs? I see you. And I think you're probably right. However, I haven't had a chance to find another DMCA free song, so eat shit. Also, apologies. Big Wah ended up with only take the best issue. Yeah, that's why Big Wah was a bad idea. It was an even worse idea because Iron Jaw's Cruel Boys and what were once known as Bone Splitters really were completely different armies. Beastclaw and Gutbusters are technically the same army, they're just two factions, with more of a hard line between them than normal. But the different orcs are like, shouldn't even be in the same book, right? Having Cruel Boys and Iron Jaws in the same book is as stupid as if Fire Slayers and KO were in the same book. If they don't do it for them, they shouldn't do it for orcs. It's racism or whatever. It's bullshit. Anyway, Iron Blaster, sub okay minus. Not good. So the tiers are S tier game wide, hard carry, B good, C okay, sub okay minus zone, not good, and trash. Iron Blaster is right now in not good. I don't see playing it for any reason. It's not trash, because I think there is a point cost that the Iron Blaster could be at to make it potentially playable. That number just doesn't start with a 2, and right now it's 240. This shit got a lot worse. Twice. It got a lot worse when they changed the rules in 3rd, and then it got a lot worse when its points went up. And in 4th edition, it got a lot worse. The scatter shot became worse, fewer attacks, less reliable damage. Its range got reduced by a lot. You can't snipe people anymore. The gruesome trophy rack doesn't add to it. It lost a rend from the sub-faction. It got a lot worse. And then they priced it at 240, and just ain't no way. It's not good. Points could potentially save it, but damn, dude, even if it was like really cheap, like 150 or something, like crazy cheap, what does it do? It misses twice, and then you pass your turn. You know? It shoots twice on 4s. And if you take 2 of them, you can only give one of them all-out attack, right? So, yeah. Miss twice, move on, right? Yeah. The old dice were bigger. Yeah, but they were really bad. I didn't like them. They rolled weird, and they had a really high chance of, like, rolling off the table. And you couldn't roll, like, 20 of them at once. Like, they were big, which I guess is funny, but that was part of the Games Workshop era of we don't even pretend that these have a game use to them. Like, they're just paperweights. Like the boingy dice, or the ones that you can't read. Like the Aidna Deepkin ones or something like that. Next up, Frostward on Stonehorn. He's sub okay minus, I think. He's almost okay, but not quite. I don't think it's a monster that I would play in any other army, really. It's not tempting. 360 for a guy with 15 wounds and a 4-up save. Super random attacks. Yeah, it doesn't really do much. Capture 10 is really... Capture 10's the best part about him. My man captures 10. That's big. But he's like an alright combat monster that just kind of has random attacks that are generally low. You can spike high, but consistency is king, remember, right? He's okay. And, you know, technically he should probably cost less, but I don't want to be the army of cheap, bad monsters. You know, you have an opportunity to play that army if you want to play Sons of Behemoth with, like, only little guys or something, and that doesn't sound fun. Yeah, Frostward on Stonehorn, kind of okay. His Frost Spear ability sucks, but it sucked last edition. Nobody liked it when it was an artifact in 2nd, and they put it on his War Scroll for some reason. His Overwhelming Charge only goes 2d6 instead of 3d6 now, which admittedly was nuts in 3. Right. Leaping 12 inches, like possibly even average, over chaff lines, landing somewhere, doing some bullshit. At 2d6 with his base size, typically you're just kind of piling him in again. You do it for the D3 mortals, I suppose. Anyway, sub okay minus. Kragnos, I don't know, I haven't played him. I haven't thought about him at all. I'm not trying to play Kragnos. The Great Mawpot is, I think, probably it's either A tier or B tier. It's good. I think A tier. Great Mawpot's good. Gives one wizard +1 power level. That's strong. Because your wizards are good. It has a once a game heal. People can kill it, but I don't know. After the first few battle rounds, they can kill it, and it's like fine. Still, probably no one's dying close enough to it to refill, but since your 2 wizards are a build around me, giving them an extra power level is just a good bonus. You guys have seen me. This thing is the Maw Pit. Pretend this is the Maw Pit. I don't have it prepared. You guys have seen me play with the Maw Pit a lot. And it's funny because it does a bunch of mortal wounds to random people, or mortal damage. It does 3d3 mortal damage every single my turn, your turn. That's cool. And eventually someone gets annoyed enough with it to come kill it. And then they do. All the Gutbuster players are playing with this one, so it's probably just better because it enhances your own power. But I like the Maw Pit. I think it's funny. It's worse, I think, probably, than the Maw Pot. But I think it's a funny one. Shout out to the Pit. It's weird that both of them are made for Gutbusters. You can only man the pit if you have a butcher keyword, so that's Gutbusters. And then over here you have to target a wizard. You know, priests get a bonus from power level 2, but you can't target a priest with it. You can explicitly only target a wizard, which is weird. The pit. Butcher. I need you guys to tell me something, alright? Consider your own army. All the different armies you guys play. Consider your little wizard guys in them. Is Butcher S tier game-wide, or is he just like the best wizard in Ogres? Which one is it? He's really good, and I like him. I love what they've done with the place. An aura of run and charge, Holy 12. You don't have to roll for it. You don't have to spend a resource on it. You don't have to choose one guy. It's everybody. I think he's really good, and your spell lore is good. And you can take a sub-faction and get a +1 to cast. You can put him next to a gut pot and give him power level 2. I'm like prepared to call him S tier game-wide foot wizard, all for 140. I just didn't want to overstate things, but I think he's super good. Yeah, 140. Control 5 on a foot wizard? Yeah, true. He actually does control 5. I think he's S. I really like what they've done with the Blaze. And you know what? Just to cut to the chase. Slaughtermaster right there. I think the Butcher is better than the Slaughtermaster. But they're both probably neck and neck up here. Maybe this, like an A+. I would consider Slaughtermaster probably an A+ or something like that, but he's super good. When I saw these two War Scrolls, I'm like, damn. Those two War Scrolls, what they did to them and what they used to look like. I wish they did that with all of the War Scrolls they redid for the whole game instead of just a select few of them. Ahem. Next best is maybe Slays the Darkness Gaunt Summoner with 2 casts and a sneaky powerful alpha drop trick. At 140, his is probably top 5 in the slot. Slaughtermaster's base is an advantage, you know, because it's super huge. Yeah. S tier rules, dog tier models. Yeah, these are unacceptably bad looking, right? They're so bad looking. Which is part of the reason why I'm not trying to buy Gutbusters. Like, look at this shit. No. You are James Workshop. Injection mold plastic. High prices. Your brand new models in Age of Sigmar are all fucking goated, actually. And the sprues are clean. You even design them in such a way to hide the mold lines along creases of stuff so I don't even have to deal with it. Like, they're so good. I'm not buying this right before they might get new stuff. I ain't. Gracier on foot can't be unbound if you get lucky, which is rando, but yeah, it's super good when it happens. Gracier is pretty nice. Next up we got Nabol Lars. And the problem with Nabol Lars is that I would put them in A. I would put them right here. In A+ tier. The problem is, you can't play them unless you play a guy that I would put right here. That's the new way you build armies rears its ugly head. Nabol Lars, you want to build an army with them always. But this guy costs 180 points and doesn't do anything. Pure tax man, but he's technically the leader of the faction, and this doesn't have the right keyword to be used without him. So, yeah, 120 is pretty good for 20 guys. Just great chaff. However, once you have to pay 300 for it, 180 plus 120, it becomes less tempting. I've seen a lot of the first time someone plays Gutbusters, like in Discord and stuff, or the first tournament they go to or something like that, there's a Tyrant and some Nabol Lars in there, and every tournament report I read is, next time I'm dropping him and dropping them and just putting more Gluttons in. It's not worth it. He sucks, and he's expensive. So, I think that's probably just it. What does this guy do? He has some combat attacks and some armor. Not a wizard. His synergy buff is +3 control score, which sounds really good for Spearhead, but not at 2k. That's it. It's a tale as old as time. He's a foot hero that can't cast a spell, can't pray. Doesn't pass out any buff or synergy that matters. So he's categorically bad. And then he's 180, and the dudes that you build your whole army around because they're so great are 40 and 50 points cheaper. What even is the purpose of points? Yeah, and you can't do anything fun with him. You used to be able to kind of do something fun with him. It wasn't like great, but it was stupid and silly. You give him a funny artifact, and you give him a funny trait, and Kragnos can whip him 18 inches across the board and do 10 mortal wounds, and you could outfit him with a big name or whatever. All the fun is gone, but it wasn't replaced with anything at all. He's just bad. Doesn't do anything. Why is he 50 points more than every other foot hero? Because he has 8 wounds on a 4-up save and 5 attacks that hit on 4s or whatever, and then half of them have 3 damage and the other have 2 damage. Because of, like, mechanical stat things that don't actually matter is the reason. Because the algorithm they put the points into the game to spit out how much he should cost works really well, or even pretty well, for like cavalry and infantry and just stuff like that. But when it comes to things that have synergy, the points, whatever algorithm they use, doesn't consider how people play the game. So yeah, he's control 5 as well. Once again, pretty good in Spearhead. Most foot combat hero have the problem, to be fair. Yes, it's a problem with the game Age of Sigmar, and it's been a long-standing problem. First edition had this problem. First edition, second edition, third edition, and fourth edition all have the problem of the do-nothing foot hero that's, I guess, supposed to fight. Has always just been awful. And a lot of times expensive for some reason. So is the Ogre Spearhead box worth getting to get into the army? Hard to say. It depends. Leon Duval. If you like Spearhead and you're going to play it a lot, then absolutely. And Spearhead's cool. I like it. If you're specifically only buying things to build your way to 2k, then you won't be using the Mournfang. And you won't be using the Iron Blaster in there. You won't be using the Tyrant. You'll only basically use the Gluttons, that's it, in the box. So really, the answer to the question is it depends on what you'll be using it for. If you're trying to only make 2k armies, then no, save your money. You're buying too much in there that isn't worth anything right now. Unless it all changes. If you're trying to do a lot of spearhead, then yeah, it's fun. It's a fun spearhead. And if you're going to go halfways between both, then I don't know, soul searching maybe. Feels like the intended crappy foot hero is to have value as a source of control score, which is awkward when both objectives got smaller and attack ranges got bigger. Yeah, I don't know if they were intending that or not. If they were, that's silly. I don't know. It seems like they were intending crappy foot heroes to be required as a tax person. But I think that's like a bad idea. That's not fun. You know? It's not fun to take a guy that I don't want to take because I have to. I want to be excited to take someone up here. Like I'm excited to take these in a Gutbuster army. You don't have to twist my arm, you know? So I think the tax stuff, we got rid of a lot of the battle line tax. We should have gotten rid of the hero taxes as well. Find a better reason to get me to play these heroes, like make them fun or good. Same thing with the Frostlord on Thundertusk down here, this guy. He's got the one ability you kind of want in Beast Claw, but it's only once per game, and he sucks. So it's like, I don't know. The degree to which having more battalions is punished makes the tax even more... Yeah, it makes it feel worse, yeah. Let's do this guy. So, Thundertusk, Frostlord. Not good. The Thundertusk monster sucks. He's got Frost Spear attacks. Those are pretty good. 4 of them at 4s and 2s. His Rampage is okay against anvils and stuff. Sometimes. But it happens in a weird phase. And the once per game thing, I don't think it's like worth it. I don't think it's worth it on a guy who's kind of bad. He's not good. And Thundertusk's, every edition I say that Frostwreath Ice is terrible now, and every edition they find new ways of making it worse. It's so bad. Frostwreath Ice. It hardly exists at all. It's a breath weapon that they can't use in combat. That's fucked up. It's also got a really short range, and it's a single shot that hits on 4s. Are they just kind of like operant conditioning, like getting us used to never using it? Well, joke's on you. I haven't used Thundertusks for like 6 years. I'm very used to not playing them. I've become very efficient at it. I'd like to. I have 2 that I have painted up and converted and stuff. I'd like to put them on the table, but give me an excuse. Next up is Stonehorn Beast Riders. I think they're not good, but they're top of not good. I think they're the top of not good. The Stonehorn monster isn't a particularly good monster any longer. 290 feels like a lot for it. The Rampage sucks. But it captures 10. That's a lot. I'm going to say that a lot. I'm going to say this monster sucks. And it's super random. But at least it captures 10. Hey, alright. Next. Firebelly. I think C tier is the lowest you can possibly put a wizard this edition. I don't think you can get worse than that, really. This guy does not have the right keywords, and his war scroll is empty. And his, like, ability on his war scroll is terrible. It just does nothing. It's so bad. And, doesn't matter. Firebelly can cast all your spells. He can summon endless spells, and he can unbind. That's way better than a Tyrant who can do none of those things. So he's C tier, even though he's like gruesomely overshadowed by these other 2 amazing wizards. The fact that you can even cast spells at all puts you above everyone who doesn't, especially in this edition, with these manifestations. Just came here to say that you refuse to take Nabol Lars in your Ogre list, and you even acknowledge their existence. You don't even acknowledge their existence. Love your vids. Hey, thanks for liking my stuff. I can't say your name because it uses kind of English-looking letters, but I know they're not. And so it would be real embarrassing to try to. But thanks for liking my stuff. Nabol Lars are really good in a Gutbuster army, tactically. Like, they're really strong. It's just now they're locked behind a Tyrant, so I don't think you take them. And, I don't know, I like big, huge stuff. I'm not playing the army to play little, tiny stuff. In general. Icefall Yeti. These guys, what makes them good? It's 120 points for 20 guys. 20 guys that you just put as a big line on the table, and they die, so your stuff behind it doesn't. It's a great job. It's a great job to do. It's awkward to take them because of how the Force Organization army building chart works right now, but it's a strong thing to have really good chaff. They're like good, the price is right. The problem is you have to take this guy and you don't want to, so suddenly now they're kind of 300 instead of 120. But in a vacuum, they're very good. Anyway, Icefall Yetis. These guys have a little bit of the corn rule. These guys have a murder step. They got an electric slide. 3 inches. Opponent movement phase. They can 3-inch electric slide. And they can do so into combat. Yeah, the attacks is 2-step. They got their 2 hairy little Yeti thumbs through their belt loop, you know, and then they mosey right in there. Right now, you can still redeploy and do that. I don't know what... I just don't know what they're going to do with that. But you can play these and do that. You can do that thing. Now, Yetis have the good sense to instantly die when they enter combat, instead of be like really good and have the Tennessee 2-step, so. Here's a recent 5-0 list that ran Tyrant with Nabol Lars and the Warcry Warband. Yes. I agree. I saw those. I think, I would say like at least 30%, at least 1 in 3 of the Ogre lists that have recently done very well at the first tournament the person went to featured a Tyrant and Nabol Lars, and then in their tournament report they're like, I'm not playing Tyrant next time. But a few of them might be. A few of them might still be. I just think it's kind of clearly not worth it, but maybe I'm just not seeing it how they see it. Anyway, so this guy can squiggle into combat and be very, very annoying. Purely as a speed bump, because they just die once they're in combat, as opposed to like Skull Reapers or a Bloodthirster that slides in. But I'm gonna put them in a special place. I'm gonna put them here. If the first FAQ goes through and you can still redeploy into slide, then Yetis are gonna go up somewhere into the real shit. Right now they're in eye sleep. But if it's okay to be doing what some people are like them that are doing, then they go up. We'll see. Waiting on it. Man crushers or man eaters are trash. They have the wrong keyword. They cost 50% more than gluttons per model, and they're almost the same as gluttons. I think they've always been bad on purpose to like not cause people to want to buy Finecast. I think it's actually they're doing us a favor. And they're so clearly on the way out that I guess it's okay that they're trash. I don't have a new picture of Gorges, but I think they're good. Gorger Maw Pack. I think they're good. B tier. 260 is, like, I think clearly way too expensive. However, depending on what job you have, if you do that job well, you can overpay for that job, but then once it's on the table, if it does that job, it does the job, you know? And I think right now Gorgers are that. 260 is too much, but they'll do what they're supposed to do. So I think it's worth it. I think they're B, perhaps even B+. Yeah, you can have a Frost Sword with Nabol Lars as well. And if we still had the old Frost Sword, I think that would be really common, Liger 0. Because in the past, it was pretty common, I would say, to run a Frost Lord in a Gutbuster list. They'd give the dude like a Splatter Cleaver or something, and he was like a fast anvil in your otherwise slow army of just only troops, and they kind of worked well together. I think it's funny to me how I see it, which is maybe wrong, but the way that I see it is Nabol Lars are so good that Ogre players are playing actual garbage as like cope to try to trick themselves into thinking that, well, maybe this guy's kind of okay, I can find something for him to do, you know. Plus, I need Nabol Lars. It's really just because Nabol Lars are that good. Nabol Lars are so good that people are running this crap and wasting shitloads of points to do so. I think it's actually just a waste of points. But, anyway, I might be wrong. But that's how I see it. And perhaps Nabol Lars should even go higher because they're convincing people to play garbage like this. Next is Iron Guts. I think they're... Where would I put Iron Guts? I think I have to put them in good. Good tier might as well be called the overpriced, but you play them anyway tier. These are both too expensive, but they work. Iron Guts are technically worse than Gluttons, and they do similar damage, I guess, unless it's really, really low saves. But that double pile-in on them really is enough, I think, to give them their own use or identity in the army. It's a super fragile bit, because you only get 4 of them, and they have a 5-up save now. That's rough. You're paying 240? 240 for 4 guys on a 5-up save? Yikes. They are not... I don't know why they're called Iron Guts. There's no iron in them. But I think they're worth playing anyway as a unit. A unit of 8 Iron Guts will like kill anything. And once a game, you can hold the shoulder buttons for the X-ray move. I think they're good. Again, they're too expensive, but once you put them on the table, they'll do whatever job you want them to. And sometimes they accidentally do the job of dying right away, but whatever, that was your fault. They should be 220, I agree. Gorges should be 220, Iron Guts should be... I would actually keep Iron Guts at 240 and put them at 5 wounds instead of 4. Just so the Iron Gut, like the iron is represented some way in the game. $240 for terrible defense is what is this? Most of KO this edition? Oh no. I don't know how KO is. I remember looking at the, hold on, 4th edition faction tier list. I put KO in the doesn't exactly spark joy tier, but I'm an outsider. Perhaps you play KO. After looking at the faction focus, I put him in doesn't exactly spark joy tier. Do you think that's fair or unfair? Maybe they're good, I just don't know. And I didn't look at their whole index yet. So Sky Wardens are too expensive. Okay. Mornfang and MSU are sub OK minus. The points on these guys is kind of out of control, as always. It's a ritual. It happens every time. It has to. The start of every edition, Mornfang are 200 points for 2. They're 100 points a model. They're never worth it. You can never put any synergy or buff on them from either side of your whole army. And then they go down 10 points every 3 months for the entire edition. And no one takes them ever. And then the new edition comes out. And they go back at 200 for 2. And we start the dance of the cosmos all over again. We have done this 4 times. In the past, they were taken because they were a forced choice as battle line. Now they aren't forced anymore. They got a better War Scroll, though. War Scroll's never looked better than it has here. It's weird that they can't take a horn or a banner unless they're reinforced. That's strange, still. They, yet again, managed to dodge every buff in the army that matters. You can't Blood Feast them. You can't Slaughtermaster +1 attacks them. You can't Huskguard Companion buff them, even though you used to be able to. You also used to be able to Blood Feast buff them. They don't capture well. Yeah, they've managed to dodge all the buffs once again. That's a rough one, kid. And they're way expensive. What they do well is they really bully 100 point battle tactic units. But they fucking should. They're 200 points. I don't know. They got Lumping Walls of Flesh, which is kind of useful, I guess. Sometimes. And they have a really, really interesting, cool, fun job that they can't quite do. And that's like Anti-Cavalry Interceptor. Where they don't... You know, your on-the-charge bonus damage doesn't work against them, which I think is really cool and kind of fascinating. But once again, they're kind of too expensive and not quite all there. Buff Dodgers. Yeah, that's them. You give them the bodyguard with anti-something on the charge. I mean, they have a cool-ass ability, and now I think they came up with a good job for them. I just want to see them go the extra mile for it. They are able to get run and charge from the priest. That is true. But they don't benefit from, I think, anything else. Maybe the once-a-game Thundertusk thing, but I don't think you're taking that. The impact hit sub-faction is monster only. Huskguard buff is monster only. Blood Feast is infantry only. Slaughtermaster is Gutbuster only. They're Neo from the Matrix, absolutely dodging. A unit of 4 of them isn't quite enough to be like an actual hammer. They don't accomplish enough. And 2 of them is in an awkward space where they can't really fight against Cav, and they don't really do their job very well. Yeah, they're just... It's a cool idea. They went like 60% towards doing it. Sub OK minus is the best place that I've ever had Mornfang on this list. I've done this tier list of units, basically every edition. And I think sub OK minus is the highest Mornfang have ever appeared. So this is a win. This is how I win. This is what winning looks like. I think 4 are actually possibly even worse than 2. Because it's just good money after bad at that point, but I'll keep it here just for whatever. Glatones. Hard carry. Hard carry, and I'm gonna wait for some more tournament things happening. But we might be in a conversation. We might be in a conversation of just infantry hammer unit game wide. I'm gonna put him at the top of A here. They don't do anything. They do one thing. But they do that one thing real good. No, it's not true. They do two things, and it's actually really interesting, I think. So what they do is, they're a glass cannon. But the cannon part of that is real shit. Like, they do grown man damage. They really do a shitload of damage. And they capture really high, too. Glass cannon capturing, I don't think is a like a army theme that we've explored in AOS before. Maybe. Unless I'm mistaken. Like, glass cannon capturing is a weird mix. It's not like peanut butter and chocolate, you know? It's like pineapple on pizza or something. It sounds weird. But with enough damage, it works. And brother, they got that. I think it's cool. I think this is a very, like, it's a cool, interesting way to move Gutbusters in the future. Yeah, they're naturally anti-horde, pretty much, but they're anti-single target guys as well, just from weight of dice, really. Weight of bod. And if you need a can opener, these guys are right here. A little more risky, perhaps. Fruit on pizza? Sure, tomato. 3-inch range is helping them. 3-inch range causes them to exist at all. If these guys were 1-inch reach, literally not good. That's the difference. If these guys had a reach 1, they're not good. Instead, they're A+ game-wide. But that's every infantry and cavalry unit in the whole game right now. 3-inch range. I don't know if they didn't realize what they were doing or if they intended on it, but that's a big deal. You wouldn't call them a hammer, but God, they have so many wounds. To me, I would call them a hammer. I think they're a glass hammer. I would use your sentence in the same way, except replace hammer with anvil. Like, I wouldn't call them an anvil, because their armor sucks and they die pretty easy, but that's a lot of wounds. You know? I wouldn't call them durable necessarily, or an anvil necessarily, but they have a shitload of wounds. If you are relying on, like, proc mortals or something, or you're overpaying for high quality damage, their bodies are going to absorb that. They're good against mortal wounds, in other words. Because their armor was shit anyway. They don't care, you know? It's one of those kind of things. So they're, like, secretly good against technically the best hammers and stuff. They're deceptively almost not even not durable. The most hidden compliment ever. Yeah, there's 2 ways to give them an extra attack over as many as 12 different bodies, which is nuts. And they capture 3 per after you use your thing. They capture, what, 37? 40 with the spell? It's a big capture. Anyway. We got the scrap launcher, which is better than the Iron Blaster. Technically, the scrap launcher is the best shooting unit in the whole book. It kind of sucks for 2 reasons, but it is technically the best shooting unit in the book, I think. It's got the wrong keywords, but it can sometimes give somebody -1 to hit. You just have to actually slay models with it, which is sort of a challenge. Nobody wants this thing to be good. We're kind of praying that it never does, but they could. They could make it good eventually, which is very sad. Frost Saber is legitimately great. The best Beast Claw War Scroll in the book, or in the index. The best. I think they're possibly, are they even better than Iron Guts? Maybe. Frost Sabers are so good. Move 9. Not visible when near terrain. Not just for shooting, but not visible near terrain. 70 points. I'll take 2. Good price. Clear, distinct job. Do it well. Yeah, they're a beast. Who cares? Move 9, baby. Let's go. They can accomplish the BTs. These fucking idiots, for 140 points, give me 4 victory points a game. Sorry, 8 victory points a game. That's good. This fucking guy, not good. He's worse than Tyrant because you would never actually play him. He's worse than this because you would never actually play him. He's worse than... I don't know if he's worse than that or not. He's technically free. He's like just about... this guy is supposed to be a monster hunter. He doesn't hunt monsters, really. He's not a wizard, not a priest. Can't do any synergies or buffs. Therefore, he has no reason to exist, really. He can move on the enemy movement. That's really good. But not really for him. He's not a drop because... you get him as a free drop if you take a Tyrant, which I don't think you want to, but some people do. Yeah. He's the classic, like, not wizard here. And he's 170, and these are 140 and 130. This guy's 170. Nope. This guy no longer exists. Icebrow Hunter. He... deserves to be in trash, but I'm going to put him in not good. Because you can technically accomplish some battle tactics with him. However, these guys do his job better, so you just wouldn't, but technically you could. He has anti-monster on every single one of his weapons. He has 2 different ranged weapons that both have anti-monster rend 1. And he has a melee weapon that has anti-monster rend 1. Which I consider to be a good joke. I don't know why he's not a priest. It's kind of silly that he's not a priest. Guy should probably be a priest. He might have a reason to live. Can you announce the name of the unit you're talking about before you talk about it? Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, Icebrow Hunter. He's trash. Next up is Thundertusk Beast Riders. They are trash. I put them in trash because they are on the end point of the race to the bottom, and it's the start of the edition. They're 240 for a monster with 15 wounds. Or 14. Yeah, this is like a the exact thing that I never want my faction to be, which is really inexpensive monsters that suck at literally everything, but they just capture 10, I guess. Very sad. They suck. The rampage sucks. The monster has 3 attacks total that hit on 4s and have rend 1, so they just do no damage. Frostwreath Ice has only a 12-inch range now. They can't shoot in combat, even though it's a breath weapon. It has 1 attack that hits on 4s. I don't think I've hit with it in my life. You can't run and shoot. You can't shoot in combat. You can't shoot if you're dead. Thundertusks are trash. Huskguard on Thundertusk is probably in not good tier. I mean, he kind of is trash, but I'll put him in not good because he could be a priest. His rampage sucks. He is technically a priest, I guess. The Thundertusk monster sucks. And there you go. If you're taking the make this unit a priest trait, is priest 1 or reroll 1s on an existing priest better? You mean, what's better, +1 power level or reroll? It depends on if your unlimited prayer is better than a specific prayer, I think. Because if your unlimited prayer is better, then you want power level. And if your specific prayer is better, then you want reroll. And for me, our specific prayer is better, which is the run and charge one. So in specifically Beast Claw, you want the reroll instead of the power level, because our unlimited prayer is real bad, and we just want to get the run and charge one. But if your unlimited prayer is good, then you probably want power level, because you always want to be doing it. So, I think it depends. Huskguard on Stonehorn. I think he's the best one. Now. I think he's the best one. This guy. At the very top of sub OK minus. The Stonehorn monster kind of blows now, but he's a priest and he has one buff. They gave us a buff. It works on monsters, and specifically their companion attacks. Proc an extra hit on 6s, which is roughly equivalent to +1 to hit. This is a good buff. It works on a 3-up. Targets enemy monsters, which is kind of whatever. But it targets all the guys in combat range of him. Which sometimes there are one, you know. Lead Belchers, I'm putting them in trash as a protest. Because I bet people play 1 unit of these. I bet people play 1 unit of Lead Belchers as pure chaff. I just philosophically disagree that 10-foot tall ogres holding broadside cannons from a pirate ship should have the job of chaff. I disagree. That's bullshit. They didn't change this war scroll at all, sadly. It was bad before, it's bad now. Yeah, ogres is the army where the pistols deal a D3 and the cannons deal 1. It's opposite land. And then the rest of the stuff doesn't exist anymore, or isn't, or is outside of the factions. Here we go. Lead Belchers are really not worth it. I think the way that they're worth it is if your points end up in a weird amount where you can't buy anything else. I could see 1 unit of Lead Belchers in that case. Like if it just worked out that you couldn't actually spend the points in any other way, then you take a unit of Lead Belchers, but that's it. And so for the person who's driving, Yetis are an FAQ tier right now. If it turns out their really annoying trick is intended and legal, then you might actually play a whole bunch of them, and it's the best way to play the army. Boy, would that suck. Then in F tier is Lead Belcher, Thunder Tusk Beast Riders, and Man Eaters. In not good tier is Stonehorn Beast Riders, Tyrant, Icebrow Hunter, Thunder Tusk, Frost Lord, Huskguard on Thunder Tusk, Bloodbelt Hunter, Iron Blaster. And then in sub OK minus tier, which is like E, Huskguard on Stonehorn, Frostlord on Stonehorn, both types of Mournfang, although I think 2s are better, just because you're spending fewer points total on Mournfang, and the Scrap Launcher, sadly. In C tier, which is okay, is Firebelly, because he's a wizard, and that's useful. And then in B tier, which is good, I have Gorges, Frost Sabers, and Iron Guts. In A tier hard carry, we have Gluttons, of course, and Nabol Lars, which is a bit of a shame you have to take a Tyrant to play Nabol Lars, otherwise absolutely no one would, because Tyrant is trash. But you're conned into it. And then the terrain features and the dice, and then an S tier game-wide, Butcher in that order, then Slaughtermaster. Slaughtermaster is worse than Butcher, but it's not a competition. You take both, and you're very happy about it. Guts is cool and good and fun. Really, this is justice for them, because they sucked for like 6 years, and so they deserve it. I'm looking forward to them doing the War Scroll rewrites, and I can't wait for the index to come out for Beast Claw, though, someday. Anyway. You'd rather retool the list for sabers? I'd rather just not play a Tyrant or a Frostlord, but maybe I'm irrationally against playing tax guys that I don't think are very good. So perhaps that's getting in the way of things. I just don't want to play a guy that sucks because I have to play some other thing. I don't like that. And so I'm recalcitrant against it or something, I guess. Do Ogres want to get the 50 point under first round command point? Nah. Doesn't matter. If it means like materially reducing the strength of your list, then no. It's not worth. Because you're kind of building an efficiency machine. And it's not worth losing that unless it's by chance and you end up not being able to take anything else. You've been playing 50 under to get the extra command to auto 6 sabers first round on certain battle plans. I have found a good use for the command point on my turn 1s for sure. But I wouldn't do it on purpose. Like I wouldn't take something I wasn't going to already. But if I get one, I can find some good uses for it for sure, you know. It's kind of how I feel about it is I can find uses for suboptimal choices. I just don't really like them on purpose, I guess. The Maw Pit has the biggest glow up. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has even tried that thing. I look around, everybody's taking the Maw Pot, probably because they own it. Probably because it's good with Butchers and Slaughtermasters, right? I don't see anybody else trying that thing. This might be like, I'm too Beast Claw pilled, and so that I think something like Maw Pit is good, but they're like, you don't understand, like, we're Gutbusters, we're actually we're good for real. Not just like kind of neat, like we're good for real. So maybe it's that, I'm not sure. I like the Pizza Pit, I think it's funny. I've been having a lot of fun with the Pizza Pit. It's been an all-star standout unit in my army. Every game it way overperforms. But maybe that's just relatively speaking, I'm not sure. Absolutely claw-pilled, yeah. I can't wait to get some Gutbusters on the table, though. They look really fun. It looks fun to do a lot of damage and be a bunch of big dudes just running around. I'll probably get myself killed a few times, you know. It's not like easy, right? Surely. I'm so used to playing risk reward, all in tempo, kind of sacrificial, all this stuff, and I'm so used to playing this weird type of army that Gutbusters is going to be a big change of pace. It's like, no, you got heroes and you got units, and you know, this is just how you play AOS normally. And I'm like, I've never played AOS normally. I only play the weirdos that play the game differently than everyone else. So it'll be interesting, I think. The Grombrindral book made you respect BCR a lot and think about making mixed ogres. I haven't read the book. Should I pick it up? Would you recommend it? Are you playing Gutbusters? No, but I will on stream once or twice on TTS. Just to mix it up. Zach Maples, thanks for the 3-month. Sorcerer Supreme on YouTube. I appreciate it. Monster Trucks to Monster Truckers, yeah. Thanks for the YouTube membership. I appreciate it. Any terrain piece that shits out mortal wounds for free is huge. I think so too. I like it. And the die can't fail as long as the enemy unit has no other enemies around him. So if the enemy unit is alone, you can't fail at the 2-up thing. And the fact that the 2-up thing fails constantly is what makes so many abilities in 4th edition really disappointing. They put that everywhere. It's not just destruction, right? It's like, alright, roll a d3 on a 2-up, something happens. That shit fails so much. I've played like, I could not have played more than 7 games of 4th edition I'm already sick of the roll a d3 on a 2-up, something happens. I'm sick of it. In my... typing away. When I'm typing up my 4th edition initial thoughts, I'm going to be like, I read on a 2-up of a d3, just do the mortal wounds, and I said out loud the first time I read it, oh, this is going to save time. You only have to roll the dice once instead of twice. And so they're thinking about resolving things during play and how can we streamline this and speed up the table play and things like that. That's what I said when I read it once. And then I entered my first game of 4th edition ever. And I charged someone. I'm like, all right, I'm about to do my impact hits. And I rolled a d6 and the d6 came up a 2. I'm like, oh, it does nothing. Oh. Wait a minute. This shit sucks. This sucks. My impact hits do nothing. 0. Not like you rolled low. It's like nothing. And then my once per game ability, I have to roll that. And so I used my once per game ability, and it did nothing. I'm like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And then I cast Pulverizing Hailstorm with 10 points saved up. And I succeeded at the prayer. And then I immediately had to, after succeeding at the prayer roll, I had to roll a d3 to see if it did anything, and it didn't. And I lost all my prayer points because it succeeded even though it did nothing. I'm like, I hate it. I don't like this thing at all. What was the book? Grom Brindle, I think, says, according to Leon Duvall. Once per game, do nothing, and you forgot to use it every time, too. Not every time. Just every game after the 3rd game. I used it at least the first 2 games, I think. And then I stopped remembering it. Because I only remember things that do something. It's my mistake. It's really my mistake. If you have a way to add 1 to the roll, it's massive. If you have a way to get +1 to the roll, it's tragic. Yeah. The ogres in the last story are pretty well written too. Dude, I could listen to an audiobook. Go on a hike or something. Get on the Nordic track, you know. It's weird that we've adopted the D3. Because I don't like that. I don't like rolling a D6 and looking at it and being like, wait, okay, that's a 2, but that doesn't, a 2 isn't a 2. A 2 is a 1. I have D3s in real life where it's like a D6, but it just has 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 written on it. It's a lot easier to resolve in real life. I wish I could get a custom die in TTS that's like yellow or something, and it just has 2 3s, 2 2s, and 2 1s on it. Just so the number is not a lie. Yeah, the D3 2-up doubled the chance of nothing happening from a D6 2-up, yeah. There was a bunch of D6 on a 2-ups, but on a 1 nothing happened, and now it's a 33%, which is a lot more feel bad. I have it in real life. I just want to find one in TT. I'm sure I could just type that in. I'm sure there's somebody that has it. I'll find it.
Good job, King.
Wazoran, thanks for the tier 1. Appreciate it for 47 months. Good evening to Texas. TYVM, I appreciate it. What's the next painting project? You'd rather play a bad unit or army that feels good than a good one that feels bad? Yeah, Seption, I mentioned that. Beastclaw Raiders have sucked before. That's no big deal. Beastclaw Raiders have been really bad sometimes. Whatever. Back when monsters could only capture 1, the army really sucked. Couldn't win a game to save your life, basically. But it was fun. you know, I'll take it. I think it's really special when you can find an army or maybe even a game that you can lose but still enjoy. Because that's very hard to design something like that on purpose, but when you luck your way into it, that's really cool. So there's that. That's not the case. No, they're bad and not fun at the moment. You're currently painting Archeon with oils. Oh, he's an oiler. Still have to wait for another day or two before you can paint the next layer. Yeah, oil takes forever to dry, that's for sure. But it's kind of neat because you get to have built-in breaks on purpose. Maybe it's annoying because you just want to finish it, but still. Mr. Van Gogh over here. You started painting with oils. Bob Ross is your muse. Oh, there he is. Hey, if it feels good, do it, right? Be right back. I think it's time. I don't want to overuse this music, really. Go back to a walk, shall we?